On this podcast, we talk exclusively to Black athletes. Whether you're a seasoned vet, a beginner, or someone just considering trying the sport, this podcast is for you.
It was just me and my mom. So mom kind of threw me to the wolves. The wolves meaning like Pop wanted football. And it was like, because that situation, Pops wasn't around, that's typical, but Pops wasn't around. You got to go be a man. I got to rough you up. I can't do it. Here you go. So at that point, like when I first got hit and Pop wanted football, it was like, okay, well, am I going to do this? Or am I about to go back to the house? And man, honestly, hitting people, running through people, that's where it is. That's where it is. What at that time. Now it's about endurance. It's about endurance. It's about climbing, dragging stuff, pulling stuff, pushing stuff. Like I'm about that life right now, man.
But that's a funny thing though. I want you to explain that to me, or I want to get into your psyche because I remember Pop wanted football. Brother did okay, and I distinctly remember the Ohio drill, right, where you line up and you got to get to the corner.
Yes,
and
sir.
I distinctly remember certain people after that drill putting their helmet down, taking off their pads, and then, right? So I can relate. So there's a decision that is made at that point, and I believe that at that point, like depending on that decision, things carry forward, right? So you made a decision. You were probably in that drill or something similar, and you felt something, and you made. But why did you make a decision to compete and stay? What do you think? What was it that kind of was it your mom's personality that you kind of were embodying? What was it? What was it?
First of all, my mom is small, petite, but she fire. She fired. So and when I got hit, I'm talking dirt in the face, grass, everything, bro. Like when I got hit, I was like, yeah. Like I honestly came alive, like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna get you. Let's do this again. And then at that point, throwing them elbows, throwing everything, throw my whole body into a tackle, man. So I came alive after that hit.
All right, I got you. See, Lonnie, that is kind of one of those things. Like, if unless you kind of been through it, there's a decision. There's a business decision. Either you're gonna close business, or you open for business. Depending on how you take that pain.
I see. So how does that transfer over into endurance sports now, into what you're doing, into what is it? Functional fitness, OCR?
It's easy because how many times, for an example, like if you're running up a hill, like really running, not pit-patting, if you're really running up this hill, and let's say you get to the top that first time, but you have to do sets, is a decision to be made. Like, do you really want to feel what you just felt, like your legs, the acid in your legs? Do you really want to feel that again? And my answer is always yes. I want to do it again because I want to beat this person. I'm competitive, especially like when it came to like OCR racing and not knowing.
How did you get into OCR? Like what made you decide to do? Not a lot of people, especially Black people, look at OCR and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna do that." It's not. It just doesn't happen. Like
I would have. I don't know if y'all want me to say names, but a certain race came out. It looked like it was easy, honestly.
Which race? I want to know.
Okay, Spartan races, right? So when the Spartan races came out, it looked easy because all they would show you was clips. Like, mind you, I can run. At that particular time, I still felt like I can run, like even miles if I wanted to. But I didn't know all the work that was inside of the run. So the first race I did, I had on a cotton shirt. I had on the army fatigue shorts you get from Gap. and I had on those foot shoes that you slide your toes in.
Vibrams.
Man, The worst mistake ever.
Oh Lord, I don't even know
lucky.
where did you run at? What city?
It was in Charlotte.
Oh shit, that was
So it was wet and it was cold.
You lucky you didn't lose a toe wearing them Vibram.
I could not run. I couldn't walk the next day. I knew nothing about minimalist shoes and shoes with grip. And actually, when I took off, when they, Spartan, da-da-da-da-da-da, and then when you take off, I took off like as if I was running 100-meter dash. Not the business.
Yeah.
Not the business. So yeah, lesson learned. Lesson learned.
So how'd you bounce back from that?
Well, 17 races later, because I got 17 races later, I got into it, and here's the thing: I tried to. I'm not gonna badmouth anybody, but I tried to get information, and you don't get information. And believe it or not, I honestly don't believe that it was set up. Like I don't think it's set up for us because it wasn't set up for us because like once you really get into it, you find out that this people was a champion in Xterra, these people are champions in that area, and here you are, fresh off of football, maybe a few miles here, a few miles there, and you just not. No, you don't know. You have no idea who you're racing up against, man. And then like thinking that weights at that particular time, because I was stronger, can squat 300-400, can deadlift 300-400, bench press 300-400, and maybe run 2 miles real strong. It just doesn't matter. This is not the sport that you want to do. So once I got the like one person told me, because I used to practice all the time. I used to practice running miles fast. Like try to run 6 miles my fastest. And one person and this was probably 3 years into it, one person said the very thing that you're doing wrong is that you're practicing fast and you just killing yourself. And he told me to start doing 9-minute miles instead of trying to do 6-minute miles. And that changed everything. So our brother went from like 1700, you know what I'm saying, down to like 500 to 300 to 100 to 50th to 40th. And then I think the lowest I got was when my mom came, my inspiration. I think the lowest I got down to was like 15. I think I placed like 15. And then
in which race?
This was in, they always have it every year in San Diego. Start with
distance?
Oh, that was a sprint.
Okay.
I've done all of them, especially like the Big Bear races. That's the one you really want to do. If you do the Big Bear races, because that's gonna test your heart. That's those type of races test your heart. But still, I didn't have the knowledge to take myself into the mountains. And then once you get into it, you'll realize that all those other racers live in the mountains.
Yeah.
They live in the mountains.
Yeah, they have that advantage.
That part.
So yeah, like you were saying about, coming from a football background and basketball and then coming to this sport against people that have been in this type of environment and this type of racing their whole lives, or competing against people who are like, leaders in their sport. Yeah, I think that's a disadvantage. But how do we get more young people in our culture to, get into these sports at an earlier age? We don't get into it till we like 30, most of us.
Go ahead. Oh, somebody was. I just feel like we got to make it fly. It's just what we do. We got to make it fly. I'm trying my best to make endurance fly.
Thank you for tuning in to the Black with Endurance minicast on YouTube. For more of this episode and other episodes, please be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts fix. Thank you so much for listening.
Black.